you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will we rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will we walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, there by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Feel that rush through time. Can you feel this newfound change? Only yourself are here again,
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today you're going to be witnessing a wonderful game between Tejn Esport and SRG Pegasus in the second half of the winter fun split, as I love to call it. Now of course my name is Kerem, and together I am here with a lovely new play-by-play to this very league. You haven't heard him before, however I can already tell you that he's a wonderful guy. How's it going, Brad?
You know what? You're already making me blush. It's an absolute pleasure to be here casting alongside you. I'm really excited. I mean, I've been looking at the standings. Pegasus seem to be, and Tejn are doing really well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a clash of what I would consider a Titan against someone that I'm really, really looking to wake up. Someone that I'm looking to pull something out spicy and really make us gasp in the opening stages of this pick and ban draft. Honestly, I am.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Pegasus can make us gasp, because that has been something that they've been really unable to do recently, as they are a very passive team. We're still looking at them trying to develop this persona, at least, because what they tend to do is they always draft picks for late game, and they do not really have anyone that can push them through the early game. Now, who I am looking at to make the difference is going to be the Danish Dragon. We have had a couple of questions for him in the recent streams, in the recent series, I think.
Yes.
Yes. But he hasn't been really able to step up, and given that the laners of Pegasus aren't necessarily strong individually on the level of, say, someone like Tejn, I really am hoping that he can maybe make the difference, as well as just hoping, that the laners don't get completely destroyed, because Tejn, they have been just on a roll.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Pegasus are going to look to run a late game composition, they really do need to be looking towards Dragon here to make those early plays. And in regards to not having these snowbally champions, it's important to get these solo lanes to a point of which they can somewhat carry themselves. And apparently I've heard that Dragon hasn't been as successful, so I'm going to definitely say all eyes on him to get a good pick, a solid jungle pick for the early game, perhaps a Lee Sin or a J4, just to get some early pressure down and get some leads in these solo lanes.
Oh yeah, if he picks his Lee Sin now, I'm gonna be a bit surprised. However, J4 is his signature pick, one of his, not the most played champion. He has been currently playing as sort of a supportive jungler. He doesn't really tend to get himself ahead, though he has showed us, especially in the first half of the split, that he is the player that can carry. However, he hasn't been too successful in regards to the new swap of the mid laners. Now, of course, going into the second half, Pegasus lost Nigel, now called Mazarox, and, well, Gimmick hasn't been stepping up too much, so once again, let's just hope that the players can step up, as we're going to be moving into the pro draft. We didn't really get too much time to talk about, but take us away.
Well, the first ban Urgot coming here from Tejn, wanting to shut down that potential of the flex pick. In my eyes, I mean, Urgot has been so strong in the top lane recently with the amount of pressure that he can put on and the solo kill potential as Pegasus do ban out Yakali. And that's probably looking to target ban out Coin here.
Yeah, Coin, he had an amazing game on Akali on Sunday, completely shutting Crater out of the game. And Christ, these bans are moving fast. Cassiopeia, Kai'Sa, and Leona locked in. Pegasus once again putting a lot of emphasis on that bot lane, which is something that they have been doing in the recent games. They did manage to ban out some of the most aggressive picks in the meta right now. So let's just hope that, well, Tejn don't have anything to really respond with. However, this Cassiopeia can be going into the bot lane. We have seen Hekatos play some of these mages over there at that side of the map, so maybe they're not going to have a good time. Boy, oh boy.
It's the Cassiopeia is such a great flex pick, especially for Tejn. It can be put anywhere, top, mid, ADC. Well, in this time it would be APC, but ooh, that's spicy. Riven and Jax. Jax certainly going to be the counter for the Riven, but so much flex coming in here from Tejn, really looking to be in charge of the pick and ban phase so far as we see that Xin Chao taking away. Gonna be an early game jungler Pegasus is going to be targeting. I can only help them feeling that they're going to be targeting more away from that jungle pressure as we see the Sejuani come through as well.
And I was maybe hoping that Pegasus wouldn't be banning that Xin Zhao out themselves, but rather pick it up, simply because once again we need to see more aggression coming from Danish Dragon. He's also taken away the J4 from himself, paying a lot of respect to the jungler of Tejn instead, and so far we're seeing a relatively similar draft to how Pegasus like to play the game. Scaling, that's an Anivia heading over to the hands of Gimmick. Now Gimmick is an interesting player because we have had a nice little narrative be brought up a few streams back, and that is that Coin wants to run him down. He wants to run him over. There is some rivalry between these two, and I think that, well, Coin is just going to want to style on him with either Riven or Cassiopeia or even Zoe. Really, anything can be flexed in this pick.
And this is going to be the Jax jungle coming through here for Dragon, and I honestly don't know if I agree with it wholeheartedly 100%. He has the kill pressure, of course, with the level 2 gank straight up from Red, and kill pressure with that counter-strike, but apart from that, Jax's early game damage and his early game potential isn't a whole lot of what it used to be since he got nerfed down in, I believe it was 9.2 or 9.3, but see if we can have Dragon make it work here in the jungle. And definitely interesting to see the early pathing of the Nocturne and Jax, seeing if they want to skirmish against each other for these scuttle crabs.
Yeah, Jax can definitely counter Nocturne in the jungle. He can counter-invade him, and if we're going to see that early pressure coming out from Danish Dragon, I'm going to be really happy because he really hasn't been able to step up. Now, of course, the Jax can be technically a flex pick. We have seen Poppy be played in the jungler role as well. Will depend on what these players decide to go for. However, I really would enjoy this Poppy in the top lane because you mentioned that Nocturne and Jax can skirmish against one another. However, I am also looking at Danish Dragon heading to that top lane to snowball himself. If he is on this Jax pick, he will have a lot of setup in the form of Poppy, as Riven, assuming that he's going to go into the top lane, is not going to have too many ways to escape.
And if Owen here can make the Riven work in the top lane, it's such a snowballing champion. And by looking at Tejn and looking at their playstyle and how far ahead they've been this season, maybe they want to get the snowball going. All this confidence must be brewing for them, But it looks like that they have much more a designated pick comp and not really one that's going to scale into late apart from maybe the Cassiopeia and the poke from the Zoe. But Pegasus are just fall out in this late game, and I don't know if Dragon is going to be able to answer this early pressure with just a Poppy, it looks like to me, honestly.
Yeah,
it will not be the Poppy, it will be the Jax in the jungle. And that is very interesting decision coming from SRG Pegasus. The right decision though, what do you think?
Yeah, I do believe that it is the more ideal decision, given that Jax can get outplayed by Riven, as she doesn't necessarily have to really rely on her auto attacks to shut someone down. She can just keep on going for these short trades that Jax cannot really come up against. So Poppy, she's gonna be able to just use the steadfast presence, you know, get out scotch-free, and Danish Dragon, he's going to have a relatively easier time just coming up into that lane and maybe getting a few picks for himself. But as you said, once again, looking at that proactiveness, as the Tejn, they have drafted themselves a pick comp. Now, there is so much engage on that lineup alone. You have Thresh with that hook, you have Nocturne with that ultimate. Zoe can be an absolute monster if the player knows what the hell he's doing and can set up the sleepy trouble bubbles. And in this early game, if Pegasus misstep for even 1 second, they are going to get caught out and completely obliterated, assuming that they don't do the same against Tejn in the very first minutes of the game.
So Tejn here looking for the missteps and the mistakes of Pegasus, which clearly have been very evident in their performance. And I'm going to say it's probably an extremely smart, very smart actually, composition built here from Tejn. But can we talk a little bit about this Cassiopeia being put in the bot lane alongside the Thresh? I mean, obviously trying to get some priority in the bot lane and poke out this Kaiser and prevent the scaling from going ahead, but so much pressure going to be on for Pegasus here already, probably having the losing matchup in the bot lane.
And especially without Danish Dragon on someone that can alleviate some of this pressure off of that bot lane, is going to be really difficult for Pegasus to be able to do something in that bot lane. Cassiopeia has just superior range to Kai'Sa. Leona, she is going to be picking that relic shoot, she has to go for those creeps, and Cassiopeia is just going to be able to poke them out both. Now, she has been nerfed in 9.2, you can remember that. However, the biggest aspect of her laning phase is that her Noxious Blast still deals a load of damage, and her Twin Fangs still once again are really a potent tool for such a venomous... I wanted to say spider. She's not a spider.
She's a snake. She's a snake, Karen.
She's a snake, okay. I don't know my biology, okay? Especially when you pair it up with such an aggressive support like that Thresh. Of course, Leona can try to mitigate that a bit, but she doesn't have the best of disengage. In this case, maybe a Braum would have been a better pick, but alas, the lineup of Pegasus, they're just hoping that Tejn misplay in the bot lane and that they just don't snowball, because if they do and Cassiopeia gets that early Luden's Echo, it's gonna be even more impossible to play that lane.
I really am going to be looking towards Hectos here on this Cassiopeia, and I don't know if you knew this cute little interaction, but if the Leona is grounded by the Cassiopeia, the E-stun, I believe, won't actually work.
Ooh, the stun or the root?
That would be the ground with the W of the Cassiopeia. If the Cassiopeia ground hits on the Leona, the root of the E will not work for Leona, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I believe that it works like if you hit the Zenith Blade before you're actually grounded, and then the ground comes through midway after you have already hit the Cassiopeia, you still get pulled towards her. However, if you don't manage to hit her before that, it doesn't pull you there, so that's a fun little interaction. We can see that happen. Of course, both of the supports have drafted themselves the Ignite, so we can be looking for some early aggression from the bot lane of Pegasus, but once again, I believe that it can be mitigated just by the sheer burst that Cassiopeia is going to be able to develop.
The double teleport taken here for Pegasus. In my opinion, double teleport definitely has the late game superiority over the Ignite in the mid lane, just because of the split pushing potential from the Anivia with that ultimate being able to just clear waves like there's no tomorrow. And Poppy as well being such a big split push fresh threat, can only imagine that she'd be taking the Demolish to punish the movement from Tejn here. But it's like we've talked about again, Tejn have been in so much control of all of these games recently. Pegasus really have to be showing what they're capable of in the second half of this Wintersplit.
I have to agree with you there. The question that we had for Tejn on Sunday was, are they able to play from an even standpoint? That is where they haven't been able to snowball through the early game. And they have showed us that, yes, they very much can. At around 20 minutes, the gold was very much even, and they once again were able to find picks upon picks upon picks, just snowball out of control immediately. So they are definitely a very strong contender. Returning to your point about the teleports, they are definitely a good pick for the late game. However, for Anivia, they're also going to be helping her in this laning phase, as she doesn't necessarily really want to go up against a kill on the Zoe. Now, Zoe doesn't necessarily have too much pressure, at least kill pressure, in the mid lane, but she does have good wave clear. So Anivia, until she gets her tier, she is going to rely a lot on her teleports to really be able to pick up some creeps for herself. And once again, every single lane just wants to farm. There is no kill pressure. Maybe if Danish Dragon goes somewhere.
Well, I'm looking at CoinG to being able to hit these Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, forcing out the flashes. But I'm really curious as to why the Anivia here hasn't taken Cleanse. Obviously, TP is such a good late game summoner spell to have, but she's going to be leaving herself extremely vulnerable if that flash is used to dodge anything, and the Nocturne is going to have a lot of kill pressure when he reaches 6. I can only go suspecting that he's going to try and rush that down by power farming in the early game, as Nocturne pre-6, unless you can get some deep vision with the control wards, isn't going to do a whole lot. But we are going live into game now, and I'm going to ask you one very simple question, Karen.
Okay.
Who do you think has drafted better for this match?
Okay, the spicy questions coming already. It's your first game.
We gotta hit those spicy questions, dude. I gotta show everybody here. We are a team, a casted team that can make predictions and stick to them.
Yes, okay, so who I believe has drafted better is always dependent on, firstly, the meta, and secondly, how the teams have managed to play their style thus far. Now, we are currently in a meta where everything revolves around the first couple of minutes. The laning phase, you can get so much damn gold out of the turret platings, you can just snowball right off the bat, and in this case, Tejn are playing to the meta. They're playing a very aggressive early game composition, and given how mechanically talented every single player on Tejn is, they are playing their comfort picks. Owen is on something that has a really high skill ceiling and can take over the lane. Same with Coin, even though it's going to be a bit more difficult. Hekatos can also bully that lane out, and so Pegasus do not really have a good safety net to set up for themselves against this early aggression from the side of Tejn. So in this regard, I favor Tejn's draft. But okay, there's a nice
Karim,
little but.
We can't be butting here. We cannot be butting here. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking towards Goldlock in the bottom lane on this Kai'Sa, and I'm really interested to see how he's going to perform on that pick. If there can be any chance of a snowball in the bot lane, as this Jax, he does have to counter strike a lot of CC set up here in the bot lane from Kyle as well, and we are going live into game here now.
Just waiting for the players to spawn in, of course, and to elaborate a bit more on the Kai'Sa pick and Goldlock more specifically, he is one of the main carries for the side of Pegasus. Gimmick isn't the guy that you necessarily want all of your kills in, because, well, he's not gonna take over the game. It's going to be in the hands of Goldlock, and if we see these CS differences not pop up for the side of Tejn, I'm going to say that they are not playing their lanes correctly. Now, they are going for a cheeky little 5-man invade, something that they have done over in Sunday.
And they have a lot of CC, so if they can pick off Kyle here, this could be a really early kill. Maybe even just force a summoner spell. Flash going to be coming in for the fresh. Dead Sentence is going to land. CP Trouble Bubble as well, not going to come through. And First Blood is already down to time.
And this is pretty much perfectly Tejn style. We have seen them do this in every single game thus far. They just group as 5, go into the enemy jungle, pick something that has really good catch-out potential, and Yelperen once again flash in, lock down, and boom, suddenly you're dead, and you have given a kill over into the pockets of Nocturne.
It's not over yet. Sleepy Trouble Bubble coming over again for Coin is going to pick up much there, but so much early skirmishing and early advantages coming in here for Tejn, and 400 gold onto what you would consider the carry of the jungle is really going to put him ahead. Backing as well for that Hunter's Blade, Hunter's Talisman. And already the game is extremely electrifying here.
Already 500 gold lead for the side of Tejn, of course just from that first blood. You mentioned that Nocturne is going to be significantly further ahead of Danish Dragon, and it does allow him to go and counter jungle. I'm extremely looking forward to what path Resourcen decides to pick, if he's going to be going for a standard horizontal jungling or if he is going to try to invade Jax. I believe that he could be starting to invade, just looking for those early skirmishes, because he's going to have pushing lanes essentially everywhere. Even though mid lane started with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, Coin is holding up well.
Almost definitely, and Gimmick here is going to have a lot of trouble pre-6 with dealing with the push potential of the Paddle Star being going to be thrown in here from Coin, but I really like the start here from Pegasus, sending Danish Dragon towards the top lane to clear out the red camp, giving the early priority towards them. Going to get that level 2 first, and it's going to leave him a bit more safer in the bot lane, as Death Sentence here, once again, isn't going to hit that one.
The Resourcing is behind the bot lane of Pegasus there. This could be dangerous.
Resourcing, if he's going to have that Unspeakable Horror, that E off of cooldown, going to get stunned up. Flay's going to come through. Death Sentence is going to hit. He's going to try to E towards the Nocturne, but it's going to be another kill, and it's now on Hectos. Tide are all over this early game here.
Yeah, pretty much perfectly executed gank. Well, the bot lane of Pegasus definitely didn't realize that Nocturne can be strong even before level 6. He's now going to go into Jax's jungle and take some camps there, but Danish Dragon may be looking for an answer here in the mid lane.
Almost definitely, and I can't really see much coming in here. As we talked about already, this Anivia is just going to get pushed up so much, and to be honest, just running no cleanse, I wouldn't be too bothered about being pushed up. You know, you're going to lose about 10 to 20 CS in the early game, but overall, it's probably worth it if you're looking to aim towards this late game.
They are aiming for the late game, but once again, the question is, can Tejn survive in the early game? In every single game, they haven't been able to do so. Now, the saving grace for them right now is being Woman. He is pushing Owen under the turret. By the way, I just realized that rhymed.
Are we going to go over these small things, Kimmin? Are we going to go over these small things?
It can be, but now Woman in the top lane.
Minion aggro, and Owen is going to come in with the solo kill on Bowman. Flash forced as well from both top laners. And that's going to be just a solo kill that shouldn't be going down towards Owen there.
Definitely shouldn't be. Well, Woman tried to push Owen under the turret, and he succeeded in that, definitely, but he sort of forgot that he had less than 50 mana in his pool, and, well, after that, he couldn't really do anything. He tried to run away with the Steadfast Presence. The flash came in too late, however, and now he doesn't have anything regarding in the top lane, as he's also going to be losing a pretty big minion wave, as he hasn't decided to teleport in.
A lot of the XP is going to be lost, but this is going to go aggressive, not noticing. Ooh. Flash is going to come through. She's going to go to pop Gimmick. Coin showing what he's capable of. Both summoner spells down in the mid lane, but absolutely perfection from him.
And you have to respect Coin every single lane that he has been in. He just plays so dominantly and so aggressively, going for that all-in at level 5 without even having the ultimate yet. He just, well, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a voice of nature, or of coins, you could say.
Oh, of coins. We talked about that early CS differential, didn't we, Kevin? And we just take a look at the mid lane now. Look at that CS differential that's already coming in for Coin G. I was expecting this CS differential at about the 9 to 10 minute mark.
Yeah,
at 5 minutes, there is already a 25 CS differential.
It's insane how Gimmick has been falling behind that much, especially that he hasn't really been low on mana in that early laning phase. He has decided to pick up that Sapphire Crystal and Fairy Charm, but still, that CS differential just tells you that, well, Coin really does want to run him down, as I pointed out in the pre-show.
That's the worst feeling, to be honest with you, Kevin, is when you have to pick up that Sapphire Crystal and that Fiery Charm, and you can't get the tier. You can't get it stacking early, and it's such a great punish from Coin G, just to really spot out the weakness in the mid lane. As Fiona's going to be going all in here, he's going to get off the Ignite. We've seen more action here is going on in the top lane. Ultimate going to come down. Owen going to get the solo kill. They aren't going to find it onto Perrin. And that's just another kill over towards Tejn.
Once again, another kill getting into the pockets of Riven. You talked about it, that Riven does want to snowball, and so far she's been achieving that. Now in the bot lane, of course, Killa tried to go in as he saw that Hecatus was low in mana, but alas, he wasn't really able to do anything. And once again, look at Danish Dragon. He is on level 4 currently. He hasn't been able to do anything. The CS differential is 20 in the jungle, as Resourcen has just been able to take every single camp in his bot side jungle so far, and that just feels bad.
And Resourcen is still doing it. Owen is going to be forced out here, but probably is going to escape. I mean, there's probably just a 2v1 potential here for this Riven, especially running that Clawfield Hammer for that extra CDR, but Resourcen is just all over Dragon here, and we talked about Dragon needing that early pressure to get the solo lanes ahead, and so far it's just going all wrong for SRG.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's what happens when you get caught out in the early game and you give a kill over to the opposing jungler. Now I will have to cut myself off as in bot lane.
Houston's going to come through here, but it's going to be unanswered. A lot of the chain CC are going to be able to proc off that plasma. Death Sentence is going to come through. Will he follow with the flay? He's not. The poison's ticking down on Kyle. So much damage. He's going to force the flash. Potions coming through from Perrin here in the bot lane, and so much 2v2 skirmishing going off. Flash Death Sentence is going to come through. Paranoia. Hello, Resourcen, showing that advantage in the bot lane.
Once again, well, that is perfectly executed. Once again from the side of Tejn, they're just getting all of these picks. They have the pick composition as you properly assessed, and well, they're playing to their strengths. There will be a lot of gold heading now into their pockets. Gimmick may be in trouble in the mid lane.
Coin here is going to be throwing that Ignite into Gimmick as well. Is he going to get the kill? Is the passive up? The passive isn't up. And that's going to be another kill over for Tejn, and they are all over the composition of Pegasus here. And we talked about them surviving until the late game, and we talked about them getting caught out in the early game and not being able to make a misstep. And so far, that's 8 missteps that have been punished.
8 missteps. There may have even been more, but maybe have gone unpunished. Now, Danish Dragon, he's asleep.
DP Trouble Bubble's going to come through, and it's just another kill. Hector's picking that one up. Death Sentence is going to come through. It's going to be followed. He's going to sprite the lantern, but I think a bit of an overextension there from Perrin. And that isn't what you want in that bot lane. The Kaiser's going to pick up a kill, and I mean, in regards to Tejn being so far ahead here, just little missteps like that, especially against a composition that wants us to reach the late game, I'm hoping that I don't see much more of that.
Now, let's just hope now Owen...
Flash gonna be used by Owen here. He's gonna take a tower hit.
Owen has no mana.
Questionable. Vomit can't really follow this one up. The auto attack gonna come through. Shield for Riven is gonna probably save her, but look at the positioning of Dragon here towards the top side. I mean, if Owen overstays, they probably could set up a dive, but just gonna back off towards those golems as we see more skirmishing. Lane's hitting that level 6 mark. The all-important dueling, and that if Hectos can hit that terrifying gaze.
And maybe now the bot lane of Pegasus can start doing something, as Killa has the access to the solar flare. Of course, not the strongest power spikes for the bot lane. Now, what is the strongest power spike?
Come through. Paranoia coming down. Resourcen, they're gonna get the passive. Can they clean up the kill? You bet they can. 10-1 to Tejn here as they are stomping SRG Pegasus.
They're just playing to that strong early game composition that they have drafted for themselves. Once again, in this strong meta, if you can play that early game and can shut the enemy down, it's so difficult to play against. Danish Dragon, he's just sadly picking up that top side Skellecrap, unable to do anything. Vomit also expended the flash in the top lane. And just a lot of these missteps coming from the side of Pegasus, so brilliantly executed though.
And I want you to take a look at the warding on the bot side here for Tejn. Really prioritizing the bot lane and trying to get these ganks off for Resourcen with that Paranoia. But, I mean, just having top side control here for SRG Pegasus isn't working out. The plays aren't going on top lane. The plays are going on in the bot lane. This is where they need the deep vision. I really need to be spotting out Resourcen to try and get picks of their own. And it's so difficult for them so far, especially with Dragon being almost half CS down on Resourcen.
He is on level 7. Resourcen has been on level 8 now. Maybe that may not matter.
Come through. A lot of damage is going to be going on to Owen here. Might just die. He is going to die. He's going to get stunned up into the wall. That's going to be a kill picked up for Venom. Sorry, I do apologize for the name pronunciation, but more action going on in the bot lane. Going to try and force the Rift Herald. Wayne G might have just overstepped the mark here. He's going to get slowed up. It's going to mean nothing though. He's going to get the Sleeping Trouble bubble off. Flash going to come down, but he's just going to walk that one off.
Oh no!
Coin is going to get the solo onto Dragon, 1 versus 3. And this is what I'm talking about to you. You can't be making these missteps. These missteps can't be happening. If the Sleeping Trouble is going to come through again, Coin is just playing. It's just toying with the side of Pegasus right now. 6-0-3, 1,000 gold bounty on him. Really showing that he is that mid laner who isn't here to mess around. He's here to prove he's the best.
I suppose his mother never taught him not to play with his food, because what he's doing right now is absolutely disgusting. Just getting all the crumbles over himself.
Oh, this is just bullying. It's just bullying.
It pretty much is.
Death Sentence is going to come through here. He's going to get locked down, grounded up. Miasma isn't going to be enough to pick up that kill, but forcing him away. Paranoia going to come through onto the mid lane here. Going to force out the flash from Gimmick. Flash going to come through from Resourcing, picking up that kill. The speed up and the attack damage just given through Duskbringer onto the Nocturne is so disgusting. And picking up that early Tiamat, clearing everything. Another kill might just follow here. Counter-Strike going to come through. He's going to Tiamat him down. Resourcing showing that great understanding of the game. And I mean, if you got Counter-Strike there, it's probably well and truly dead.
Yeah, so clever itemization there, because he wouldn't have been able to take him down without the lovely Tiamat. Of course,
oh yeah, he definitely got that Tiamat just so that he could get
just
the kill there.
for this one very situation.
Yeah,
now,
just for that one.
Gimmick, I am so very sorry. He has that teleport, of course he does, but if he does this, well, he may not want to teleport to lane at all.
And Resourcing is just going to pick up another kill here onto Gimmick, 15-2. And we talked about these compositions and how if one gets ahead early, it can just completely stomp the other. And we weren't lying, were we?
Yeah, we definitely weren't. I mean, we never lie, of course. Never on cast.
No. We only lie when we say ADCs are useless.
Yes, precisely. Now, the silver lining for Pegasus is that Tejn are going to
bubble again, and it's just another kill. I'm sorry to interrupt there.
It's okay.
Coin. He's just walking all over. I mean, is it even really worth going for kills at this point?
Well, I was going to mention in the silver lining that there is no gold now being given out for killing gimmicks, so to a 2000 IQ play maybe. Another silver lining is that Tejn aren't getting the perfect game, but really I don't think that Pegasus are going to be happy with how this game has played out so far, as the mid lane turret is picked out and 10k gold lead now for the side of Tejn.
And we talked about that early game advantage in the early game in CSing from Tejn being so important to get that lead so that they can make picks. Redirect yourself to the mid lane. 70 CS up in the mid lane, sorry, and Gimmick's just falling so incredibly far behind here.
And that rivalry now renewed as Goldluck is forced to
Death
just
Sentence,
flash away.
Yeah, I mean, so much pressure here from the Miasma and Death Sentence, and I can respect the flash, even though it went wide, but Dragon's here. Ultimate here going to come in through Leona. Paranoia is going to be used as well. Counter-Strike isn't going to stun up anything. Or Resourcing is going to pick that one up, sorry. Flash Box is going to come through here for Thresh, flaying him back, and 3 more kills for Tejn, and they're in such domination as Owen here. Just a spectacular flash from Owen there. I was lost to my words, but that was picture perfect.
A wonderful flash from Owen, not even giving that single kill as a sort of breath of release for the side of Pegasus. They're just losing everything on the map right now. Owen hasn't even gone back as a sort of disrespect, I'm going to say, now that tier 2 is left open in the bot lane. They can start to look forwards to set their eyes on it, but they will just go back, and at least they'll give that respite to them.
At this point, they have the bread, they have the butter, and they have the knife. They're in complete control of this match, and they can get anything they want. As Resourcing is going to find Dragon here. Might get stunned up from that Counter-Strike, he's going to get veered away. And just another kill. Resourcing has been all over this bot side jungle, just completely negating any jungle pressure from Dragon. And to be honest, we talked about how Dragon needed to be the win condition to push this mid and top lane into the late game, but so far he's been the losing condition here.
Oof. And
I hate to say it,
bad.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna flame. And Tejn has just been all over them. Sleepy Trouble Bubble gonna come through, so much damage, and it's not gonna be another kill just yet. The other one was gonna come through. It's gonna stun him up as Golduck looks to clean up this one, but Coin isn't gonna do a lot of damage apart from with the abilities, but Helpion is just gonna survive. And honestly, we talked about these matches, and we talked about how stomps can be so fun to cast.
Yeah,
but there isn't any competition here, is there?
There really isn't much. Now, the only miracle that Pegasus could go for is just stall this game out. I do not believe that at this point it is very plausible of a situation, as Koi has 10 kills. Rasmussen, or not Rasmussen, Resourcen is sitting on 7, yes. And every single lane has pretty much gone sour for the side of Pegasus, so it doesn't look very bright for them. What we can still look at is how creative Tejn can be in finding these picks, you know?
So obviously it reaches this stage in the game where everything's kind of just in Tejn's control, of course. But what do they do in this stage of the game right now at the 17-minute mark to further extend that lead?
So the Rift Herald is currently being taken by Resource, and that is a great way to speed the game up. Baron will be, of course, spawning up in 3 minutes, as someone that is getting stunned up is Danish Dragon.
Death Sentence came through, but there's nothing to be able to be found. Going to be stunned up against the wall. Death Sentence again is going to come through. I mean, Perrin has been absolutely incredible. Petrifying Gaze is going to come through. Poison is going to be taken down, but it isn't going to be able to be cleaned up. Owen's going to come in here with a Riven Ultimate. Passive here is going to be from Gimmick. He's going to fall as well. Paranoia. Resources like, hello, fight. I'm here too. Completely being cleaned up here. Carl's going to get one back. Probably is going to get a triple kill towards Owen, but no. Coin's going to steal it. An 11-0-8 mid laner mage. That has the potential to poke and one-shot you. I don't know about you, but I just want to leave the game.
At this point, as a caster, or if you were playing? Because
I'm going to say playing. Casting, I'm enjoying this. Yeah. I'm enjoying watching this stop.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's really difficult for Pegasus to really do anything right now, and they will just have to reassess what they have been able to do in draft. You asked who won it, and now, yeah, I'd say Tejn, because they're just so dominant in these early pick compositions. Vaughn just getting blown up immediately as soon as he steps near the minion wave.
And I have this really bad habit of interrupting, but when your tank is being 80% health, and that's meant to be the person at your front line, that doesn't speak good volumes.
Yeah, especially if he doesn't have any magic resistance.
Magic resistance as well. I think the itemization here from Foreman is questionable. Sleepy Trouble Bubble's just going to decimate the health bar of Gimmick, and I mean, Tejn have just been all over this game, and it's such a small thing to mention, but minions' levels are determined on the level of each individual in your team. And if the minions for Tejn are stronger, they don't really have to worry about the push going in their favor. The push will automatically happen for them. So they're probably just going to have immediate Baron control just under that fact, but maybe looking towards pushing this bot lane tower before it spawns in 45 seconds.
Yeah, and they will have Baron control regardless now.
Resourcing could be catched out here. He's going to drop the Paranoia. Death Sentence is going to come through to Gimmick, but it just isn't going to lead to anything. And a beautiful spell shield, Shroud of Darkness, just preventing the Leona ultimate from coming down there. And really, really great play from Tejn. Just the macro and the micro has been on point. Flash Death Sentence from Perrin isn't going to find anything.
Yeah, so he tried to flash, of course. He's been going for all of these completely testicles out plays, as once again, goodbye!
He just gets obliterated by the paddle star. Sleepy Bubble Trouble is going to come down onto Carl, and another pick. Dragon is going to fall as well. Owen has died for Gimmick. 4 kills for the side of Tejn. And Kevin, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that caster. Are we going to see a forfeit?
Well, I am not sure at this point. Maybe Pegasus can try to do something in their draft to alter how the game is going to go. Once again, just locking in something more early game focused. We can be likely expecting that forfeit though, because this just has to feel demoralizing if you're Pegasus right now.
Hell, Perrin are going to pick up his first kill of the game on the Thresh. I mean, if we're talking about statistics here, that's better than pretty much anything else if your enemy support is out-killing your mid laner. Not the greatest look, as honestly, we need to be looking for the next draft here. We need to look to see if Pegasus can out-draft Tejn, because honestly, they've been all over this match. Coin has been in charge of it, and we see here, Resourcing has just been all over everything. That's going to be game 1 falling directly into the hands of Tejn.
Just very dominant performance from Tejn. They have shown us why they are one of the most dominant teams in Division 2 right now. Just their superior drafting, superior lane control. Coin is such a scary monster to be facing in the mid lane. He ended up 3 levels ahead of Gimmick. Yeah, that's a big statement.
That's quite something. And as someone who has only just recently joined this league, I am so tremendously excited to see what Tejn have to offer, because that was definitely not the maximum of what they can do. Coin, I mean, just going for the Medjais in the end.
Yeah,
really
just
showing
10%.
he had the snowball off. I mean, do we do MVPs in this league? That's a good question for you, Kimmin.
Well, we do MVPs, however, we're going to have to do that after the second or third game. Of course, it is a best of 3, and at this point, we're going to be going into a short break, ladies and gentlemen. If you wish to watch the second and possibly third game, if Pegasus managed to claw their way through it and try to go for a reverse sweep, then go away and grab yourself something to drink, something to eat, because it's going to still be a relatively interesting game too. I reckon we're going to see if they're going to be able to pull through some of their slumps that they have entered. Don't go nowhere, and we will be back in just a couple of short minutes.
Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive in, bloodstains washing underneath the waves. I'll be reaching out to keep you safe.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second game between Pegasus and Tejn Esport. My name is Karim, and I'm together. I'm here. I'm best intro. He's Brad. I'm Karim. We're going to be casting the second game after a very, very convincing first game from the side of Tejn. They pretty much managed to snowball out of control, and well, let's just hope that Pegasus can do something with their draft because, well, that early game was disgusting.
I mean, the banning phase from Pegasus was very, very questionable. I mean, we talked, didn't we, Karim, about them wanting the early jungle pressure to excel these mid and top lanes into the late game, and we saw Pegasus banning out those early junglers that could actually give pressure, and so forcing Dragon onto the Jax, of which isn't the strongest jungler, and Resourcing just having complete priority in the jungle, taking most of the camps, if not all of the camps in the bot side for SRG. A very convincing show from Tejn as we go here into the next pick of ban base, but yeah, it's all on the draft, honestly, and Pegasus, they want no more of that Zoe.
The Coin managed to pop off so damn hard on that Zoe, getting an early kill before even level 6 just because Gimmick misstepped and had already spent his passive. Now, makes sense. However, I believe that Coin will be able to get something for his hands as Cassiopeia taking away. And something that was banned out first phase, for the first game, was Akali. It's still open from Pegasus, and it's open, and okay, that's an Akali pick. That's an Akali first pick for Tejn, unless Pegasus take that.
Well, if Coin picks up this Akali, I mean, it'll be the first game, and for me, for the first game, and will be the first game I've seen Coin on this Akali, and I've heard absolutely incredible things. So,
yeah. He's disgusting on it.
I believe it would appear that SRG have banned here for what I would consider their tilt picks. They don't want to let through this Zoe and the Cassiopeia because of such a convincing win from Tejn, and I don't agree with the bans at all, honestly. I mean, you want to put priority bans into champions that are well against your composition, and maybe the bans are just a bit off here from Pegasus, or trying to ban out the potential of another pick comp from Tejn. And Akali is picked up. Coin doesn't give a damn, and a Lucian too. And we talked about this. We just said you can't be banning out what you want to ban out due to tilt or some smaller factors because of that. You want to be banning out based on the counter pick towards your composition. And we see the Ornn and Shyvana coming in here for Pegasus. Shyvana not a very, very, how do you say this, a normal jungler.
Oh yeah, she's a bit out of the meta right now. However, yeah, the Danish Dragon it is a comfort pick for him, and she did receive a quick buff. I believe that it's actually pretty significant as it doubles her damage, her previous passive damage over to dragons. So once again, let's just hope that Danish Dragon can get the priority over the jungle, because, well, unless he does, they're gonna have a hard time. Now, he is going to be enabled by that Corki into Akali mid lane, which is what I'm assuming is going to be the matchup. Pre-level 6, Gimmick can bully Akali out with relative ease, but once again, Tejn, they have such a snowballing composition already. Now, the silver lining for Pegasus, that I believe, is that they do have Corki, which has relatively a decent amount of pressure in the laning phase, so let's just hope that they go with something also a bit more aggressive in that bot lane, maybe something like that Ezreal. Maybe Talia can be picked also, now that Cassiopeia has been banned. Well, let's just see how it goes out.
And honestly, I'm looking to see if this Ornn will be flexed into the bot lane and played as support, as he's seemed to have been so strong there, but forcing the dragons on the blue side isn't a bad idea, and we see Galio picked her in the mid lane. That roam potential, the save potential, and Darius coming through here. So it is going to be an Ornn support here. And I think the ideology behind this Ornn support is that they want to force Tejn through chokes. They want him to have to play through chokes and have to check the Baron and check the Dragon. See if they can make picks with the Ornn. And Kha'Zix is going to be the last pick here for Tejn. And Tejn drafting what would appear to be an extremely squishy, snowbally comp.
Yeah, this is pretty much the Tejn composition. We saw
this is Tejn, isn't it? This is just Tejn.
This is just Tejn. That's the definition of Tejn. We saw a very similar composition be played out on Sunday, where they played the same thing except for Lucian and Riven in the top lane. Of course, there was Knut playing for them, and now it's going to be Owen, who has shown us that he can snowball and find these outplays in the top lane himself. Now, a thing I want to bring to your attention is this Akali and Morgana, because generally you would consider Morgana to be playing around her bot laner. She doesn't have the best of roams, but what Tejn do, especially now that they have Akali and Morgana pick, is Coin can go and find those opportunities for himself in the mid lane. And as soon as he is snowballing a tad, Tejn can go and group up, and Morgana just puts her black shield on Akali, and there is nothing that the opposing team can do because they cannot really get any CC down on her. Coin is also really good at putting down the Shroud at just the perfect moment. And well, that is a really, really terrifying combination heading into both the early game and mid game.
I couldn't agree more with you on that one, but one thing that I do want to draw to your attention is that this is what could potentially be 4 tanks on the side of Pegasus, and if you're picking an Akali, you're going to want that Akali to be dealing damage. Expect to see Coin here building a lot of that magic penetration, so the Void Staff and the Sword Pen shoes, but although this Akali might be able to scale and be able to hit like a truck, she's going to be hitting into tanks and a front line of Darius, so does Coin have the potential to play around this and maybe, you know, get the pick on the Corki in the backline? It's going to be so difficult, but yes, when bringing up that combination with the Black Shield, Akali is definitely not something to be counted out at all.
And we are talking about these picks as they are meant to be played, so Akali shouldn't be doing damage to tanks. Of course, what we saw last game was that Coin was playing Zoe, and he was dealing damage to tanks. Now,
I mean, come on, he was a 13. He was a 13-0. I mean,
true.
You got to give me some prospectus for this, Karen. Come on.
Of course.
Give me some leeway.
Yeah, I'll give you one. In the case of Galio, it is more difficult as Akali to snowball into him, because if you try to go in, he will just taunt you up and try to escape with the hero's charge. So it makes sense, you know. It's a good matchup into Akali. However, Galio did get nerfed recently in this patch, so he's not going to be as abusive. But of course, it's still not going to be too terrifyingly fun. Now I am looking at Resourcen, because now maybe Coin is going to need that external help. Resourcen didn't necessarily spend too much time in the mid lane. Of course, he was there a few times, but mostly he put his pressure in the bot lane. Now, Tejn doesn't necessarily want any jungler in the bot lane. They can find leads of their own against this Ornn and Corki bot lane, because Lucian and Morgana are going to be dealing way more damage, even past level 6, which is one of the strongest points for Ornn.
I think Lucian was definitely the perfect ADC that you could have drafted here for Tejn. So much disengage against the composition of which you would think is disengage. Sorry, I worded that completely wrong. You want disengage against a composition that's going to have engage, such as the Ornn and the Shyvana. Being able to dash away as the Lucian and being able to kite against these tanks, and you're going to see probably what is just the norm and the meta for the Lucian, so the Black Cleaver and Bork, so going to have no issues shredding through these tanks. But I really like the Lucian pick here, as it can bully out the early game with the Corki and the Ornn. And to be honest, Ornn isn't the greatest support when it comes to peeling away for his AD, so Corki for most of the time is going to be left almost alone in most of these fights, apart from the Galio ulti. But hell, if anybody can make it work, I would hope it's Pegasus, because I mean, obviously seeing them being completely stomped in game 1, they've got to shake it off, and they've got to have the right mentality and a good mentality to come into this game 2 and think you still have a chance, because everyone has a chance of winning a game. It's always 50-50 in terms of how good you can perform, and we'll be going into game here soon. And Karim, I'm going to ask you that question once again.
Once again, okay.
I'm going to ask you, who has the better draft?
So, once again, I am looking at Tejn. They have drafted, once again, comfort picks for themselves. They have drafted something that works with the meta. They have so many winning lanes. The only question marks that I have for them is going to be the top lane. Owen did get counterpicked by this Darius, and so I am looking at, is he going to be able to play into this relatively unfavorable matchup for you because, well, Darius, he can shut you down. He has a strong early game, similar to Riven, and especially if he is going to get Danish Dragon in that lane. Remember, he was spending a lot of time around the top side of the map, so maybe we can see some more actual ganks there. Maybe we can see the top laner and jungler working with tandem to try to invade Resourcen. Maybe that is something that we can expect. So our attention should be on the top lane more than anywhere else, because mid lane, it's gonna be a bit boring in the first couple of levels. Bot lane, it can go terribly wrong, but only if Yelperen manages to hit his binding. So top lane, skill matchup. You know how much I love him, so please, Bowman, do something.
Tejn definitely drafting for what I would consider to be the more lead towards the mid game. I rarely see this composition going towards the late, but Pegasus have a lot, and I mean a lot of focus on the late game, but they haven't picked an early game jungler, but they have picked a jungler of which will have priority over Drake. So I just want to see Pegasus execute this correctly and give priority around the Drake, so the support and ADC and mid laner and the jungler all buying control wards. I mean, you want everybody to be buying control wards, but also can Tejn punish this? Can they seem to catch somebody off guard when they're getting these deep wards in for Pegasus?
Yeah, and you're talking that Shyvana will have to be playing more around the bot side, contrasting that with what I said around playing top lane with Vomon. So that will open that match up more. Of course, after the Drake, the first Drake, of course, spawns. Now, I really do agree with you on the fact that Pegasus have drafted themselves a late game composition. However, I do like the addition of Corki, as he does spike around the mid game rather than just pure 4-item hyper carry that will carry you the game after 35 minutes, right? So maybe if Goldluck is given a few kills, he can start to snowball, and if you manage to shut Hekatus down, which he is susceptible to, he isn't the invulnerable carry of the team. That role would be suited for Coin, and even he has had a couple of, well, as we say in the analyst world, oofs in the past. So
oh yeah, I saw the oof on Sunday. Don't worry, I saw the tower dive from the Coin and the very questionable tower dive on the Sandra, but I think Coin is just really he needs to shake it off. And it's such a term that I use so much, but shaking it off isn't just looking at a play and not going, ugh, it's looking at a play and going, you know what, I done goofed, I messed up, just move on from it and keep a positive attitude. And he did, and he kept positive about it, and they went on to win the game. So really, we need to look at what lanes they're individually trying to play around. Also, most definitely, the Shyvana is going to be happy to give priority towards bot, because she's going to be one of those dragons. But having the winning matchup for the top lane of Pegasus is going to relieve a lot of pressure from Danish Dragon here.
Yeah, and that may actually force Resourcen to move into the top lane to try to help Owen out just a bit wee tad with this Darius matchup. Of course, he can go into any other lane, really. He will have a lot of setup. Less in the mid lane, of course. However, they can still try to do something against this Galio, as his real only escape outside of that flash is his dash. And if you manage to get yourself into that trajectory, similarly to Sion's ultimate, well, you'll cancel it, and he's not going to be able to run anywhere. And if you manage to get Coin going, once again, if you give him a few early kills, he is just going to be able to take the game over for you. So mid lane and top lane priority over here focused from the side of Tejn.
Almost definitely, and Tejn probably going to look into snowball at that Riven and keep the Sakali in a considerably good healthy condition, as the Tejn, the mid laner Coin, he can pretty much hold his own in terms of wave clear and distributing and keeping those tower healths up. But I'm looking at the level 1 here from Tejn, and also, Karim, keep your eyes on the Kha'Zix. Keep your eye on Resourcen and see what evolution he goes in for, as we see a 5-man commitment to the bot lane for Tejn again, and maybe it will force Pegasus to play a little bit more passively this time.
They do have the Dark Binding. Killa is between a rock and a hard place right now.
Gonna get binded up, but I don't think it's gonna lead to much more than just that. No summoner spell is gonna be forced, just gonna dash away. And having that dash at level 1, that's going to mean a lot of pressure given up. As we see a 5-man invade coming in for Tejn. And they're going to have spotted this. It's going to be pinged away. Don't want to get caught out, Godlock.
Yeah, they have been spotted, luckily. Luckily for that single ward.
Luckily, and the BM coming in here from Owen, showing off that level 7 mastery. Oh, it would appear they all have level 7 masteries. What was I? I was wrong, Karen. Completely wrong.
Again, these are comfort picks for these guys. They know how to play them. Again, mechanically demanding champion, and so far they have showed us that they're really good at playing them. And so, audience, this is something that I ask of you. Please spam hashtag Tejn win or hashtag SRG win if you believe either of these teams is going to win the game. If you don't think that anyone is going to win, then please don't type anything. It would ruin our results of this survey. And well, let's get right into the news.
We don't want that. We like the survey. The survey makes us happy here, Karen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I really like interacting with the guys.
And I want to talk to you about this cheese strat that they have going on in the bot lane here. Probably just trying to look to the knock-up, and they are going to get it. Phosphorus Bomb's going to come through. Ignite's going to be dropped down instantly. Gunfighting is going to hit onto Goldock, and he's probably going to fall here. The Lucius is going to be pelleting away at him with that BB gun of his, and it's going to be 1 kill. Perrin's going to go low, he's going to get rooted up. Hectos is going to force the heal. Flash is going to come forward, the smash is going to miss. And you know, we talked about these early leads for Tejn. That was awful. Absolutely awful from Pegasus, and I can be pretty critique-ish, but that is just not how you want the early game to go for your lane. Gonna be missing CS in the bot lane, missing that first wave. EXP down, 2 kills for Tejn. And honestly, it's hard to hyperplay like that because it's just a play that shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening.
So you could see the thought behind that play. Of course, Pegasus, they wanted to do something. However, they cannot really play against such an early game dominant composition, which is that Lucian and Morgana. You know that she has taken binding and she can just lock you down and kill you immediately. Voman has to flash away.
Flash is going to be forced by Voman here. Danish Dragon is going to be given priority to the top side. Not something that we expected. He's going to get the slice and dice off. Owen going to get the solo kill, 2 versus 1 against Voman, and it's just going to walk away. And it's just this micro play and the play and the deep wards here from the side of Tejn.
Teleport committed.
Poking out going on in the mid lane. Teleport is going to be forced by Voman. He's going to get snared up in the mid lane. Could that be a kill? Might have to force the flash, but he's not going to get it. Resource is just going to be chipping away at Gimmick here. Slice and dice once again. The leap's going to come through. The flash is going to come through. He's going to get the kill. Gimmick outplaying Resourcen. Absolutely fantastic. And that's where you want that lead. You want that lead in the mid lane for Gimmick, so he can shut down this Akali early and get some early items. And just a really horrible misstep from Resourcen. Maybe 2 bang for your buckers. Just going to headbutt a wall. Nothing really much. Biney's going to hit. Black Shield's going to come down onto Hectos. And I mean, these are just some very questionable plays from Pegasus. But nevertheless, they gotta just push everything aside, and they got to focus on this game. This game's what's important. But when at 4 minutes, the opposing AD carry has a 20 CS differential, that isn't great.
Well, luckily for the bottom
Dragon is going to be caught out here again. I do apologize for the interrupt. Roman is going to try and force him back. Gimmickster as well. This could start a fight. Potentially 3 versus 2, but Dragon was out of that one.
Well, the lucky thing for the bot laner of Pegasus, at least right now, is that Hector hasn't gone back with that lead, so he is still sitting just on a Doran's Blade. But I agree with you. Missteps coming out from both of these teams right now. That single failed dive from the Resource and will get that 1 kill over to Galio. He is able to snag all of those Wraiths. Ooh.
That's
lovely.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
Good play, GG. It's one. It's one for Pegasus right now.
I mean, if your jungler is one-shotting Wraiths, I mean, just amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
No counterplay.
And I want to redirect you to that gold lead in the bot lane that's already accumulated for Hectos. Currently 1,000 gold up on Goldock at 5 minutes into the game, and that isn't great. That is not great, especially because now he's going to be able to back on that Bilgewater Cutlass and throw down so much more pressure onto Goldlock here, just forcing him out and not allowing him to farm.
He will be able to press that early game damage and of course advantages that he can. Now in the top lane, despite the first kills being over...
Oh, I hate to interrupt again, but another all-in is going to go down on the bot lane. Hectos is going to get the better of that one, just chucking out damage onto Carl. And there's just never a second for you to talk, is there, Karen?
Nah,
Never
there
a second.
really isn't. It's okay. It's okay. That's what happens when you draft an early game composition like Tejn have, because you can just keep on fighting and keep on going for these quick little fights.
Charges are going to come through here. Perrin's going to fall extremely low. Hectos is just going to pick that one up. The gank is going to come in from Dragon here. Can he pick anything up? The E-Focus was a bit off there, but Resourcing is going to be here to counter this one up. Slice and Dice once again. Hissing Light is going to come through. It's going to clear up the kill onto the Danish Dragon. Not having the better of this one. Binding just for the BM of Godlock there as Tejn once again are controlling this early game.
Last game we saw that it was Coin who really popped off. Now it is Hekatos. He is on an AD carry that can take over the laning phase. We haven't seen him on it yet, and that was one of the big questions that I had for him looking into this game. Can he play a very early game centered AD carry and just carry his team on the back of that? So far he has been showing us that he can. Of course, it's still just laning phase, but well, that speaks still for a lot.
Ultimate here is going to come down from Riven. Owen is trying to get the solo kill on Vomon. Isn't going to go down, but we talked about these leads that they're continuously getting.
Oh.
Well, that was just a very questionable backing space as we see a skirmish going on in the mid lane. Coin going to get some poke down, and I mean, just some really questionable plays coming down here from Pegasus. I mean, the ADC of Tejn is already doubling the Corki here, and Dragon's going to look to clear this one up. No flash, so he's probably not going to be able to pick it up. Owen just with the durability, the mobility, and really showing off that Riven pick in the top lane. I mean, the CS differential all over the board is just in complete control. 15 CS in the top lane, 20 in the mid, and 30 in the bot. I mean, it's just complete control so far for Tejn, and you have to believe that Pegasus need to pick themselves up as
the bot lane.
Binding is going to come down. Hectos is just shredding through Carl. Flash going to come through. The heal is too late for Godlock. And just another kill onto Hectos, completely showing what he's capable of in this Lucian pick. Bullying the lane. And it's such a strong word to use, bullying. It's continuously, non-stop, applying pressure to that bot lane. And he's been doing it so well over these past two games. And even if it's just a piercing light to the face of Godlock, it's damage that can't be healed easily when considering he's only on that Sheen and not a Vamp Scepter like Hectos.
And can I just say how anticlimactic it always is when Hectos just flashes for a kill and there is just that one little poop coming from that pistol just to slaughter someone.
Flash is going to be forced from Dragon here in his own jungle, forced away completely. Hectos is going to get some poke down here. I can't imagine the ulti going to be forced here from Perrin, just shoving that binding into Carl's face and saying, "This is our jungle."
And Resourcing right now, he is counter-jungling Danish Dragon, something that he has also done in the first game. Now we're working together with his bot lane, who isn't working together with the junglers. The top lane as Owen gets a nice little trade, forces Vomon to flash out, and once again, just sheer dominance from so many lanes.
Resourcing is going to be on Dragon again. He's going to have that red buff ticking. He might not pick up the kill. Flash going to come here aggressively for Owen, and maybe just a misstep there. A kill going to come through. Hectos is all over Goldock right now. Going to get the dive. The culling is going to come through. The heroic entrance will find no one. Bind is going to come through once again. Hectos is just going to look to clean it up. And heroic entrance, maybe an inting entrance there from Gimmick.
You know, there is a thin line between heroism and inting. I feel like a very wise man said that once, probably. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a kill given away to Hekatos once again, and that is 5
Ultimate from
full-blown
CoinG going to
kills.
come down. An amazing play from CoinG escaping, but Goldock's going to clean him up. Insane mechanics on the side of CoinG, really showing what he's capable of. Regards to dying, I mean, you had to have seen that. Did you see that, Karen?
Oh, I did, yeah.
You did see that? You did. I mean, nothing more can be said about that. Just completely amazing. And we talked about SRG Pegasus having the control over this dragon. Well, so far, redirect you once again. Who has all the deep vision here?
Well,
it's Tejn.
Yeah, just by looking at the map, I would actually be expecting that they would have a lot more. Funnily enough, as the bot lane, the bot side vision isn't precisely dominated by them. Of course, they do have that control ward and the Scuttlecrab taken, but they don't really have too much vision, of course, in the bot side jungle of the enemies. So that is a silver lining, of course, for the side of Pegasus, but still.
Yeah, it gives some breathing room to Dragon. I mean, he is a level down of his opposing jungler Resourcing, but there's still hope here, and I like to think that there's still hope. I mean, you have a kill on your Corki, and you have a kill on your Galio, and most importantly, you have a kill on the what is considered the winning matchup for Voman, but lane's not going to come through, and Gimmick going to be put in the top, and Voman move to the mid. We'll see how that works out for them. Just a really substantial gold lead in multiple areas. I mean, CoinG is 40 CS up on his opposing laner. Really showing that he's in charge of the match, and all of the lanes showing really that they're in charge. He's going to poke away and get that hill, but the ultimate going to come here for Resourcen, just slicing and dicing once again for the third time I've said that this match, but that's all you can think of. I see those claws and I think slice, dice, and
Slice,
again,
dice, and mice, just like that.
Slice, dice, and mice. Just Resourcen showing that he can be resourceful. Did you get the pun there?
I don't even want to respond to that, but I
okay.
appreciate it.
Well, you are. Yeah.
It's okay. So Pegasus, they are trying to find some of these leads with different matchups in the lanes, but they are really unable to find anything at this point as Gimmick gets shut down. Oh, sorry, Voman got shut down immediately now in the bot lane.
Flash going to come here from Morgana, but she's tanking up the tower. Commencing Storm wants to come down, but more action happening in the top lane. Exhaust going to come down. Boyzi's going to pick up that one, but a dive coming in on the top lane as well. Gimmick is going to fall. 3 really quick kills picked up, and I really don't like that. Dragon Sentries is going to come through the burn. He's going to drop down 13 HP. Resourcen survived on there, and that's just going to be a tilter.
That has to be one. Yeah, it has to be a tilter, but a perfectly juggled tower aggro coming from the side of Tejn. Of course, you do have that Tram, that Akali, which eases things up a lot more. League of Stopwatch hits also happening.
And look at this,
bot lane,
is going to come down. Owen might be caught out. Red Smite going to be ticking, as well as that bleed from the Darius. He's just going to go over the wall here with the Q from Riven. Karim, what is the Q? What is the Q name for Riven?
The Q is something with wings. I feel like I think it's wings. I'm not sure. Broken wings, maybe.
Broken. Oh, I can respect that. I mean,
a KFC bucket, maybe.
KFC bucket. Yeah.
Could be.
Oh, I need a KFC now. Directing all my attention towards KFC.
Okay.
You got this. If I just leave, I can go get a KFC. That all good?
No. In fact, just.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Well, okay. There is technically already a chicken, or rather, a champion with a chicken skin in the mid lane right now.
But he hasn't got it on.
Well, he doesn't, but you can imagine it.
I can't eat that bucket of chicken, Karim. I can't eat that bucket of chicken.
As SpongeBob said, imagination. What also SpongeBob said is that Darius is going to die right now.
And what SpongeBob didn't predict is that Hector's gets so far ahead in this lane that he can just shred through Voman. And this SpongeBob thing,
yeah.
What do you think his prediction was? Do you think that he thought that Tejn would absolutely just be all over the side?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think that SpongeBob could really see into the future. Now, I'm not sure who he is a bigger fan of. If they are, if they want more of a scaling or more of a snowballing. Assuming that he is a...
Flash is going to come in here aggressively from Owen. He's going to pick up the kill. Kyle's not there to answer, but he's going to get the slap on. And he's not going to clean him up in time. Once again, just... Slice and dice. Slice and dice.
Slice and dice. Wonderful.
What I like to see from Resourcen.
Wonderful. Slice and dice. Sweet victory coming from the SpongeBob, of course. Owen with so much sustain with that shield, of course. He isn't snowballing too far ahead, technically. He is 50 CS, though, over Voman. Now, Hector can even look to solo Voman, who is right next to him, maybe.
Perhaps. I mean, Taste the Fury has been doing so much damage for Resourcen. Getting those evolved Qs first. And Flash aggressively going to be coming from Voman. Culling is going to come down. It's going to absolutely shred him. Hectos with the 1v1 outplay. Package is going to deliver Goldlock really far away. And Hectos, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Can he survive this teleport? It is going to be coming through from Owen. Here comes the Riven and forcing the disengage. Forcing him away and pretty much a save. Dragon's entrance is going to be completely just used for the disengage from Dragon, and we talked about SRG wanting to have that priority over the Dragon, but so far it just hasn't paid off at all, and the solo kill pressure of every one of these individuals is so impeccable this game.
Well, so far, well, to be fair, it has been just Ocean Drake spawning, so, maybe Danish Dragon isn't too fond of them. But yeah, once again, Tejn are just snowballing out of control. 10k gold lead. Now, the silver lining for Pegasus is that last game, that 10k gold lead was at 7 minutes. it's now just at 15, so, you know, they can maybe be a bit happy.
They have something to keep happy about, as the Morgana Orb is going to come down. There's so much fighting. The taunt in the front of the Galileo is going to heal 3. The Black Shield is going to come through, and it's going to do nothing for Pete. I mean, he's still going to fall, just walking back into the team, and a trade, 1-for-1 coming through there. About the best you could ask for. Owen is just getting so the kill in the top lane. More fights still going on here. Resources are going to get locked up. Hectos is on the back line trying to cut down Gibbons. There's going to be nothing, as Dragon is going to come through with that kill, and Point G as well. Going to trade another one back. Hector's trying to cut down Gimmick here, and a very questionable use of the Blast Cone, but delivering himself and really delivering the match towards Tejn.
And at this point, just what can you do really when you're Pegasus? Tejn are just so far ahead on, once again, such high pressure early game picks. Hekatos is 9-0. He's doing everything for his team. Koing is just toying with the opponent. What am I even trying to say? With the opposing team.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's okay. I'm a bit slow.
It's okay. No pressure. It's okay.
Yeah.
We show a lot of love here, Karen.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
I like to believe we do.
Yeah, you're already setting a sort of hippie standpoint over here. As soon as you hear, well, it's okay. We love each other.
Hippie man.
So, Koing actually hadn't picked up that Gunblade before every single fight up until now, so that is something to keep in mind. Going into everything one, he's going to be now hitting like a truck on the Sakali. Of course, Hekatos, he does have those 2 items by the Rune King and Black Cleaver. Pegasus, they may look to get something in the mid lane, but...
We talked about silver lining, but the only silver lining, is going to be that he's just going to be slicing and dicing up this Orn. Kyle, once again, is just going to fall. Aggressive play coming in from Quincy, using that Shroud to get himself out of the trouble. Hectos is just going to shred through Woman. And we talked about this Hectos being able to disengage and chunk the front line, and look at this. Got the Black Cleaver and the Bork, 10-0 and 3, and really showing a good performance on that Lucian.
And they really swapped roles with Koing from the last game. In the first one, of course, once again, it was Koing snowballing. Now it is Hekatos just patting themselves on their backs, just, you know, handing over the responsibilities. Baron will be spawning in 20 minutes if Tejn want to go for it. And after that, it should be smooth sailing. Of course, it has been very smooth. The waves hadn't really been up for the sea of Tejn and snowballs. Right now, they are grouping in the bot side jungle, and that is a terrible thing.
He's just going to get leaped onto. Dragon is going to face it in the bush, but it's going to come down to nothing. Dark Binding isn't there for Perrin. It's not, and Kyle, just get the hell out of there. Walk away. Don't stop it. Invis going to come here for a resource. It can do about 75% of the HP. Ultimate from Riven. Broken Wings, I believe is the name, has broken the morality here for Pegasus, as another one will fall to Owen, and he's really been showing up with his Riven for the past 2 games.
Yeah, well, there is nothing that Woman can do. He even has the favorable matchup, and yet he managed to lose it. Even with Danish Dragon in that lane, it really tells you a lot about this top laner for Tejn. They are currently sitting at the Nexus turrets, and
so let's talk. So I hate to interrupt. Let's talk about the win condition here.
Oh yeah,
Pegasus.
Okay.
Well, how do they get back into this one? What's the
for Pegasus?
Yeah.
So
not for Tejn. Let's be positive. Horn is going to come down, but he's going to get binded up, not being able to use that. Just a really good counterplay there from Perrin. Coinji is going to jump in, dealing damage all across the line. Hectos is going to be shredding Bowman as the Morgana Orb is going to come down. It's going to get no one. He's going to drop Gimmick and be able to pick up that one for himself. Koichi is all over this fight, as Riven is just going to be clearing up the towers. Hectos is going to get Gimmick in the end. Godlock is just waving goodbye to his base as it slowly falls in front of him. Could they end at this point in the game? Do they have the means to do it? Perhaps, but maybe just a reset? I can't believe. I mean, the health bars of Tejn are just so low. But with a 20, I believe if I can do my maths correctly, an 18,000 gold differential for Tejn. And these fights have just been so clean, and SRG have just been so sloppy.
Well, Pegasus, they really needed to find a fight. At least chunk Tejn out so that they could get a little of breathing room, you know, just escape with their lives and prolong this battle for how should we call it, the battle for survival, I'm going to say, at this point. And Tejn, well, they just reset. Baron is up. That is one of their win conditions. To answer your question about the win conditions for Pegasus right now, they just cannot lose their Nexus turrets. I think that we can start small and then we just go working from there as Killa is just slaughtered. Goodbye, Mountain God.
Another kill. Leap gonna come through. Dragon is gonna let get picked off. Dragon's entrance isn't gonna do anything, and it's just gonna knock back. Perfect positioning from Resource in there to prevent the disengage, and this should be just a free Dragon picked up. I can't imagine that he'll attempt to solo it with Vomit coming in on the side. Gonna leap over that wall. Flash apprehend is gonna miss. Resource just BMing, stopping for a split second there to say, we don't give a damn. Ribbon's gonna get to it. The Broken Blade is gonna come through. The flash aggressively isn't gonna lead to anything as Goldlock. And Ribbon's gonna go gold. Coin G here is gonna be going on the aggressive leap coming through from Resource. That reset is absolutely perfect. So far ahead. Coin G cleaning it up. Tejn cleaning it up. And it looks like to be the end of a convincing win for Tejn.
And the bottle, sorry, not the bottle, in the base of Pegasus is just swarming with the red lovely minions. I like to call him Joseph for some reason, I don't know. Now, I feel like dragons aren't supposed to be scared of bugs, but if one jumps at you and just murders you, then...
Well, Allhorn's going to be coming down here looking to kill Tejn, but it isn't going to lead to everything. And ladies and gentlemen, snap, crackle, and pop. Tejn have been so convincing going 2-0 in this series. A dominating win for them, really showing their capabilities of their comfort picks. Tanks, Kerem, who needs tanks when you just destroy and dismantle the early game?
And I really love the fact that they did draft a composition where the other members of Tejn can also shine, that it isn't just Koing taking the game apart from the opposing team, and that it also Hekatos and Owen doing a lot of work. Hekatos has ended on 11-0, dealing just, well, let's be honest, so much damage. Well deserved, I'm going to say. And ladies and gentlemen, please, there are links in the Twitch chat. Make sure that you go vote for your MVP. That is something that you actually asked after the first game.
I thought,
yeah.
Now, see, I thought we choose them. Can we have our own MVPs? Can we say who we believe was the best?
We can talk about it, of course. Do you want to start?
Oh, I'm going to say game 1 for me was definitely Resource. He had so much control in the bot side there, really just extending the leads. And on that Nocturne, he proved to be so dominating. And I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but honestly, first match, definitely Resource.
Yeah, Resourcen did put a lot of pressure all over the map, really. Another person that I am going to put onto the pedestal for a bit here is Koing. Once again, he proved to be the rock, the anvil, and the hammer in the first game as that Zoe. He pretty much bopped everyone after getting himself a few early kills against that gimmick. He really showed that he is a strong mid laner that is a force to be reckoned with after going super aggressive, which is his style, of course. And even in the second game, he found a lot of these openings. But in the second game, I believe that it can go to Owen, maybe. You know, it's he really played that matchup into Darius well.
He did, and surprisingly for a counter matchup in which he rarely got any help, he managed to pull off the 2v1 kill. And I hate to go off topic here, Kirin, but
yes,
double gold at the end of that match there for the Lucian. 12,500 to the Corki, 6,000. And we talked about the Corki being all of this damage and being the thing that he wants to play around, but Dragon spent so much time in the top lane there and really was committing to try and get Darius ahead. But when he had what we consider to be the winning matchup, that really doesn't matter, because with time being on these comfort picks, they really shined through and showed that they don't care if they get counter picks. They don't care if they have the bad matchup. This is their champions, and they are here to show that they can play their champions better than anybody else.
I have to agree with you there. They are one of the most dominant teams in the Division 2 right now of the Winter Serenity Gaming split. I believe that it is slowly winding down the time that we have to, that we have to spend here. Okay, that's an infinitive. Okay,
Please save us, we have to spend time.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
I'm all jokes.
We are all jokes. We enjoy joking.
We do.
Regardless, thank you everyone so much for watching. Now, I do have to do the sellout part of this cast and the stream, so please, first of all, I want to thank our sponsors. Yes, we do have one for some reason, reasons to me unknown, but apparently we are attractive enough to attract some people that would like to sponsor us. Gamers Class, yes.
Oh my goodness, we're attractive.
Yeah.
I've not heard that from anyone other than my mum.
Well, you'll be hearing it from me apparently quite a bit more.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, if you want to improve in League of Legos, then you can go to gamersclass.com. It's with a Z, not with an S, because that's the kind of lingo that we use over here as the cool kids on the block. Improve in Season 9, make the season yours, you know, sort of tips from professional players like Frog in... It's not only in League of Legends, you can also improve in Counter-Strike Global Offensive and other games. That's what I've been told. Regardless of sponsors, other things that I want to shout out is our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course Twitch. Make sure to follow us everywhere. We do stream almost regularly every other day or so. The schedule is always on the Twitch channel. You can see it there that tomorrow there will be an SRG Ares versus SRG Crater. That is going to be an interesting matchup as well. We will see who is going to bring you through it. Make sure to follow us here. Join our Discord if you haven't yet, because there's a good old fun time, and we do like sharing some GIFs and memes, because apparently that's what we do.
Yeah, we're all about those memes.
Yeah, we're all a very stereotypical community. Now, the last thing that I want to say is, my name has been Karim, and his name has been the wonderful Brad. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a good night.
Peace!